Yeah. Yeah, we're gone there. Flat Earth Dave's on the show. Now listen, before we get into it, I just want to say you're safe. Nobody wants to force you to believe anything. If you think that Dave's a moron, I don't think you're a moron. You can believe what you believe, and I believe everyone should believe what they believe, just like religion. Conspiracy royalty, guys. I feel so honoured to have him on the podcast. I mean, it got a bit sciencey. He had a lot of information to get out, but I did say it to him, and I hope you don't think that I was being too sycophantic, but he does exude a passion and a lust and a vigour for it that I don't think, we touched upon the grifter angle, that I don't think someone that was cynically doing it would. He looks, I could see through the machine. I could see through the screen. There's a spark and a glimmer in his eyes. Someone that's, when someone's really found their calling in life. Now, whether you agree or disagree, this guy has. It got a bit, there's one bit, I got to say, it was when I don't know what he was saying, it's probably about 50 minutes in. He got a little bit of indigestion, and he went, and as he was, whatever he said next, I got vicious cramp. I didn't want to spoil it because, he's calling from America and it's quite late at night here in the UK, and I've been looking forward to this all day, quite nervous about it because these conspiracy rules. I mean, he's a known person, and I didn't want to fuck it up, and I was worried about tech stuff and that. So I got vicious cramps. So you might see me go like that, but I styled it out quite well, I think. Now listen, I'm not saying it doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what he thinks, really. I mean, he's presenting evidence in a very compelling way. I mean, whether you think the evidence isn't compelling because he's got a hat on backwards rather than a lab coat, and he doesn't have letters after his name from one of the indoctrination centres that we speak about, whatever. Listen, I will have anyone on here. I challenge anyone. I want Dom Jolly on. I want Bravo. I want Tripoli. I want to get into it. I want to get into it with everyone. Listen, if you come on this podcast, I'm going to hear you out, and I don't want to be the Paxman, the Piers Morgan. I don't want to call people idiots and have arguments. I don't think he's an idiot. I don't think Dave Weiss is an idiot at all. I think he's someone that questions stuff and starts doing his own experiments. I say that at the start. And you know the Earth is a globe, right? You know the Earth's a globe. Well, how do you know? Because someone told you. Simple as that, isn't it? And Dave doesn't just tell you it's flat. He's going, look at this. And obviously, there are more learned people than me that would say that we're a couple of morons. But this is the intellectual abattoir, and I'm just going to talk to it. I'm going to talk to who the fuck I want about what the fuck I want. Come along or not. If this isn't for you, don't watch it. And I know I'm going to get trolled and I'm going to get hate. He mentions that, but fuck you. I don't care. I just don't care. Anyway, let's get into it. I can't believe it. Here he is on the screen all the way from America. It's Dave Weiss, a.k.a. you probably know him as Flat Earth Dave. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing good, Justin. What's going on?
What's going on? Well, obviously, it's no surprise why you're on the show, what your expertise is with a name like Flat Earth Dave. I'm very open to all possibilities. I know that a lot of people watching this won't be. I just wanted to let them know they're safe. Nobody's trying to change your mind. We're not trying to.
I am. I'm trying to change their mind.
Well, that's your MO, and I've listened. I've been a fan of yours for a while. Very interested in what you do. And look, no matter what anyone says, I don't want to give too much of my opinions at the start. But no matter what anyone says, Dave, no one can argue with this. People that just accept received wisdom will call you a fool even though you're the one doing your own research. Now, I just think in any walk in life, doing your own research is always better than just accepting what you're told.
I agree. Absolutely. You know, people accuse me, what are you, a truther? You want to know the truth? Yep.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's like a truther is a bad thing. They've literally flipped the script. But just for those of you that are about to tune out, I'm offering 3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. Okay? So listen to the whole thing. And if you can supply me 1 proof that we live on a globe flying in space, then you win 3 Bitcoins.
Well, that's a very generous offer.
Yeah.
And how long have you had that offer out? And have there been any takers?
There's been people that have tried, but it's literally ridiculous. I mean, even the experienced anti-flat earthers, they don't even try because they know they have nothing. It's just the people that are like, whoa, what about sunsets? What about seasons? And, you know, how does the sun set over the ocean? And, you know, when we answer all of that, they just have a hard time. But, you know, there's really no questions that that haven't been answered. But maybe one day someone will come up with something. But I'm not worried about losing the Bitcoin because Earth is flat.
Yeah, well, I truly believe you believe that. And so let's get into it from the beginning. So let's say before you adopted the moniker Flat Earth Dave, I'm sure you wasn't christened that. Otherwise, you would have had no choice other what your career you would have gone into or what your beliefs would have been.
My birth name was Flat Earth Dave. My mom decided
with a name like that, what else are you going to do? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But so let's go before your awakening or your when you first started to suspect that the Earth wasn't a globe. As a child, were you a skeptical child? Were you conspiratorially minded?
I have one of my earliest memories in school. I was in maybe first or second grade. I'm not sure, but the teacher brought us outside to show us gravity, and he had a bucket on a rope. We filled it with water, and he swung the bucket back, and he did some loops, and the water didn't come out of the bucket. And he said that's because of gravity. Well, I mean, even anybody, that's centrifugal force. It's not gravity.
Right.
And I actually went to the teacher as a little kid, and I go, but if the Earth is a globe, the water's on the outside. So don't you have to turn the bucket around or put the water on the outside of the bucket? And the teacher, he got a big beard, and he goes like this. And he goes over and gets his book, and he comes over, and I remember the book. It was like, I don't know how many different teachers owned this book, but it had highlights in every color in it. It had sticky notes. It had like 100 little tabs on it. And he opens up to the page, and he shows me the paragraph, and he goes, this is how they tell me to teach it. So that's how I'm going to teach it. But you keep asking questions. And I'm like, okay. And I went over on the swinging blade.
So if he had have come up with a very satisfactory answer, would that have nipped it in the bud? But I guess
maybe
you never got that answer.
He said that's how he saw it. So that seeded in me. Teachers are doing what they're told.
Sure.
Right? How do you become a teacher? You memorize and regurgitate the stuff in the textbooks. And if you do it really well, you can be a teacher.
Yeah.
So if I wrote a book, I call it the book of bullshit, right? And then I give it to you and you study it and I test you and you get 100%. I now give you the book and say, you can now teach this to other people. And so you teach it to other people. You teach it to 100 kids, and one of those kids masters it. He gets 100 on test. You give him the book, and you say, you can teach that to everybody else. And that's the education system. It's a book of bullshit.
I don't want to go off on a tangent at the start, but I think what I've realised is that very much with the pandemic and the that's how I feel about the medical profession. I thought doctors were these people like you'd go in and they'd sort of like examine and do research. They just do what they're told, don't they? They prescribe. Yeah. I don't know if that's a slight tangent, but they just prescribe. It's like a machine they're in, isn't it? They're cogs.
Yeah. So we're going to be very careful what we say here because we want this to be YouTube friendly, and YouTube loves the truth. So we have to just be very, very careful. So I know a situation where somebody had the C word, the C word that everyone's afraid of getting. And there is a natural protocol for this thing that 99+% of the people 100% recover. But in the doctor's textbook, it says, no, you have to do radiation and the other C word that they inject in you and all of this. This is the procedure. You have to do that. And they know that 95% of those people will die. Okay. And so the doctor knows this, but that doctor cannot tell you about the first thing, can only tell you about the other thing, or they lose their license. If they lose their license, they lose their practice. They can never pay off their doctor, their school loans and everything. And that's the system we live in.
Yeah.
When kind of the first thing I woke up to is the medical tyranny that's going on, and then, everything else just kind of fell in place. I started questioning money. Money was the first thing. Watch there's an old video, not that old, but pretty old, called Money Masters. What is money? And I looked up, I found this video and I was like, wow, money is a scam. It's just a lie.
It's a belief system.
It's a belief system. What is money worth? Whatever we believe it's worth.
Exactly.
That's it. What power does the government have? Whatever power we believe they have. They don't have any power over us other than the power that we give them.
Without jumping the gun, because I know the question that you must get asked more than any is, why would they lie? Why would they lie? Well, to me, there's only one reason they often lie, and it's, you just touched on it, it's money, isn't it?
No, it's not money. Money is how they control us. Right here on my app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You can find it at flatearthdave.com on the frequently asked question page. This is my favorite button. Why the lie?
Right.
If you go to Why the Lie, amazing videos, life-changing videos, all of them being hidden by Google. For some reason, you won't be able to find them. My YouTube channel is called DITRH. That's one of my short video channels. D stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. And if you can go there if you don't have the app and scroll and find the one by Laura Nina. It's a UK woman who basically in a 10-minute video explains why the lie. And basically the short of the story is, we're born into God's world, right? Where there's natural law, but they can't admit that. Otherwise, the government can only do legislation that abides with God's law. So they created a fake world, a globe world, a satanic world where they can make up their own rules. So if you live on their ball, in their ball field, you have to play by their ball rules. And if you play with fake fiat money, they can totally control you.
Right.
So the thing that they're afraid of is flat earthers, people waking up to the flat earth. And let me tell you something, the awakening is happening. My app, the Friend Finder, just hit 200,000 people. Take a look. These are people that have my app that know the earth is flat, right?
Wow.
This is crazy. And this, I'd say, represents less than 1% of the flat earthers on earth because, not everybody knows who I am.
Well,
and
yeah, so
it's amazing.
So on that point, Dave, you've got all these people that are awakening, but is it that they are, it's the oldest trick in the book, the divide and conquer, for fear of being called crazy. They're sort of like, they're there and they're believing it, they're on your app, but they might not be out and they might not be as visible as maybe they should be, but they could be.
Well, that used to be the case. In 2014, when I first got into this, you mentioned flat earth to somebody and they're like, oh, you're an idiot. And they refuse to even look. And it's very hard to find another flat earther. Now you mention flat earth to somebody that goes, I've been looking into that. I saw this flat earth Dave guy. I saw Eric Dubé. I saw, Mark Sargent. I saw this. I saw Behind the Curve, whatever. And they're already looking into it. So it's out there in the morphic field. Everyone's thinking about it already. There's so much information out there. The globe has gotten so ridiculous. TikTok is blowing up. I think 1/3 of the kids on TikTok, I think it's more, reject the globe, right? And that's because it's TikTok is short videos, and with today's declined attention span, it seems to be the way to get through to people. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. You can't unsee it. And so now it's getting much easier. People, I'll go out, wear this shirt. It's not stupid. You're not stupid. It's stupid, right? Because there's no better way to say it. Like people like, I can't figure that out. This orbiting thing, whatever. You can't figure it out, not because you're stupid. It's because it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid.
I mean, even if someone did, I think you have to do. I think the one has to do more mental gymnastics to accept the globe model in a certain sort of way. Because scientists will say things like, "Oh, gravity bends light," but so I'm not going to get. Before we get into that, so you started off, you saw the centrifugal force. Now the globe model. I was just thinking as you were saying that the water would do the opposite, wouldn't it? The centrifugal force would be spinning the water off of the earth, not towards it to cling on.
Neil deGrasse Tyson says because of the spin of the earth, that the water at the equator bulges 14 miles high. The earth bulges 14 miles high. Now, if you're spinning and you got this rocky ball, right, and all the continents are connected to that rocky ball, they just, and then there's water, the water would all go to the equator, right? But it's 14 miles high. A plane flies at like 5 miles high. So when I fly from New York to Brazil, how come I don't have to triple my height just to skim over that wave, right? Like that. How come Africa's not underwater? I mean, it's the stuff that they say is so stupid that people just like, well, I don't have a degree. I'm not qualified to question it. Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's got a tie with a moon and a sun on it, and he literally is just an actor. He's just an actor.
Exactly. Has he done, like, he will talk about experiments and they say about but have you done them? That's what I always think. It's like, has Neil deGrasse Tyson ever measured the globe? He's just accepting wisdom, I think.
He says, we don't have time to meet with flat earthers. We have more important things, but he makes video after video after video straw-manning us, right? Saying the stupid stuff that we don't believe, but they say it. And then lazy people, belief is the lazy man's knowing. Lazy people think, oh, flat earthers, they think, the globe believers don't even know that this is what they believe in. Okay.
The heliocentric model for those.
Heliocentric model, right? We're taught in school that the earth is spinning once per day, slower than the hour hand on your clock. Not true. right? It is once per day, but you're going 1,000 miles per hour, taking a right turn at over 60 miles an hour the entire time. Don't tell me you wouldn't feel that, right? Don't tell me you wouldn't feel that. And then what people don't understand is the speeds, right? Check this out. The hypersonic sled track. It goes by at Mach 8.6. Ready? Did you see it?
Not really.
Can't even see it. And I don't have sound on this, but go on YouTube, search hypersonic sled track. You'll come up with this video and watch it go by with the sound. The sound is shocking. It literally every cell in your body goes, whoa,
Yeah.
right? A shockwave. Now, we live on a lumpy ball, a lumpy rock, surrounded by curved, smooth water that no one's ever seen curved water, surrounded by air adjacent to no pressure void vacuum of space. Right? That is scientifically impossible. Oh, gravity's holding it on, Dave. Nonsense. Right? And that is moving around the sun 10 times faster than this. You can't fathom this speed, let alone twice the speed. It's orbiting the sun in a curved trajectory 10 times faster than this, and it's chasing the sun. Ready? 100 times faster than this. And we go outside and we see stuff like this, right? This is going on. And we see stuff like that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So,
right?
No, I see exactly what you're saying. So, if you were in the courtroom and you had one piece of evidence to really know, what is the one most irrefutable piece of evidence in your mind?
What do you mean irrefutable? Like,
what would you, if you had one argument to put across? If it's like, right, what is one point, Dave, and you've got to try and win the jury over?
So there's so many different things that for different people, but the thing that got me was we can see too far. So on a flat Earth, the horizon is an optical, weather-dependent observation, and it's an apparent position. You can never get to it because as you go, you can see farther, and the horizon is just the limit of your vision, right? But on a globe, you have a physical horizon. You have a physical horizon where at a certain distance you should see the line of the Earth, and then the Earth should drop below it. From this location, using the Earth curve calculator, these mountains here, which are a little hard to see in this picture, they're all there if you zoom in on this picture. And this picture's in my app. Just type in 700 miles and it'll come right in. These tops of these mountains, giving the globe the benefit of the doubt, rounding down, should be 50 miles below the curve of the Earth. Now look. Here's the curve of the Earth. Can you see my mouth? My mouth is 50 miles below the curve. You can't see it because there's a physical obfuscation, right? You can't see it. If you zoom in, you can't see it because it's behind a physical thing. But we can see these mountains, and they all line up. They all line up right on this straight line, right? So we can see too far. That's a problem. That's a massive problem. And then people are like, well, how come I can't see from New York to Paris, right? Well, here we are in Illusion, France. We're looking out over the ocean. 175 miles away is Mount Canigou, and you can't see it because the top of Mount Canigou from this elevation, using the Earth curve calculator, is over a half a mile below the curve. Hey, that makes sense. Earth is a globe. However, the sun migrates from June to December back and forth through the tropics. And twice a year, it lines up with this viewing spot and Mount Canigou. Now, the light that's bouncing off of Mount Canigou isn't strong enough to push 175 miles through the soup of the atmosphere. However, the sun is much brighter. And as the sun goes away, it looks like it's going down, but it's just going away due to perspective. And all of a sudden, you can see the mountain. Here it is. Here's the whole mountain. Right there is the top of the mountain. That top should be a half a mile below the Earth curve.
And that's how far away?
There. 175 miles. Okay. And so it's right there.
Right.
It's right there. And so the globe answer for that is ready for this. This is the globe mental gymnastics. You got to get your spandex on. Get ready. Okay. The sun is already set. The mountain is already over the curve, but the sun is refracting up and stopping in the perfect spot. Not refracting up high in the sky. It just refracts up. And then the mountain, which has no light on it, is also refracting up and blocking the refracting sun. You can't figure it out because it's stupid. It's absolutely stupid.
If you forget conventional wisdom and approach it with an open mind, it is a bit more far-fetched than it's flat. I mean, it appears flat. doesn't it?
The Suez Canal, 100 miles, was built with a datum line that did not account for curvature, right? And it goes for 100 miles. There should be over a mile of curvature, well over a mile of curvature, but it's not. It's just a level, straight canal, and that's it.
So what would conventional science explain that with then?
They can't. They don't explain it. They ignore it. You know, there's so many things that go against the heliocentric model. Like I had a guy on today, my interview before this, and he's educated, he's an engineer, he's all this stuff, right? But he's lost in his indoctrination education. And I showed him these long distance observations, and he goes, well, then the curvature calculator's wrong. I'm like, I just go check it. I'm like, this is not my curvature calculator. This is earthcurvecalculator.com, right? And so he's like, well, anything that doesn't fit his model, he goes, well, then the calculation's wrong, right?
Convenient.
He goes, well, the Earth curve calculator is wrong. So I was explaining 8 inches per mile squared to him, which is, and I was like, the problem with 8 inches per mile squared, that over 2,000 miles, it starts to get wrong. But the funny thing is, it gives the globe the benefit of the doubt. It's saying less curvature than there actually is. So, but the problem is we don't see 2,000 miles. It's impossible to see through the atmosphere 1,000 miles. It's tough, infrared, maybe 1,000 miles from an elevation. But at 1,000 miles or less, it's accurate to within a foot. And that foot variation is actually in favor of the globe. All right. So go ahead, take your foot, take 10 feet. Go ahead. I'll cut the Earth curve calculator in half and say it's only half that amount. You still lose.
So I guess that even on a smaller scale, because I know I've listened to your other stuff, other interviews and stuff, with the curvature of the Earth, with the advent of modern technology, and you've got these zoom cameras now, is it the P900?
P1000, P900. Yep.
Yeah, so I know that you have done your own experiments. We call them buoys. I think you pronounce them buoys at the ocean, and you've done your own. You've done your own experiment. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's amazing. Somebody gave us this one. This is a great one. This was in Costa Rica, I think. And so we look out here, and I had a globe around. It's like, well, when there's a crisp horizon, there's no, that's the horizon. That's the globe horizon. Okay, it's the globe horizon. So he's zooming in, and all of a sudden he's like, what is that beyond this line? What are these? And what these are dolphins that appear to be miles beyond this, because if you actually look at it, they're way beyond this. So they're basically showing they're not jumping up from behind the Earth going, look at me, sure. I'm behind there. Yeah. This is just where your angular
perspective.
View. Yeah. It's a perspective, but when the angle of your view, it's to the point where it's just reflecting the vanilla sky, right? And so this looks like Earth, like the edge of the Earth, but it's really just the edge of your ability to see.
Right.
It's the edge of your ability to see. The horizon is very interesting. It gets compressed left to right, top to bottom, and back to front. It gets compressed a lot. Let me show you what I mean by that. And I'm trying to get people to understand this. And this is a tough one, right? So where we go here, front to back perspective. Okay. So here is, I got 3, let's forget the arrow, 3 lines.
Yep.
You got this line to this line is a good amount of space. Mm-hmm. And then from this line to this line, it's much less space, mm-hmm. right? In between.
Yep.
In between. So if we look, here's my shoreline. I'm pointing at this island right over here, which is a 1/4 mile away. This last one right back here is literally pointing at New York City skyline, which is 25 miles away. So the way our visual space works, you know how the sides come in, the top and the bottom go down? Well, the back gets compressed to the front. So when I go from here, I bring my boat out here, it gets smaller, and I bring it out here, it gets that much smaller, right? That's a 1/4 mile. Now, between here and this line, I have to do that 100 more times.
Yeah.
100 more times. So this boat is going to get equally smaller 100 more times in this tiny little bit of visual space. You're not getting much information. Now, how do you get more information out of this little space? Go up. Then you'll have a better view. And that'll get bigger. you'll be able to see more. It's your angle of attack. But when you're down low, like if you got down really low, you wouldn't be able to see the difference between this line and New York City. It would all crunch together. And that's how perspective works.
Because I guess that the old model they used to say to prove the globe was when a ship went over the sea, you would see the sails disappear last. But I guess if it's just getting further away, it's just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's going to stay on the water, not up in the sky, isn't it? So it would appear to be that.
Well, it's actually a little more. It's a little more to it than that. So let me see if I can, if I can show you something. So this is, not that one. Let me show you another one. So there's a thing what I call the wave front edge, right? So we look out here. We don't see any boats. We don't see any boats. Oh, there are boats. I'm zooming in. I'm making it big enough to see. Now they look like they're over the curve, right? You can't see the bottom of the boat. But then just wait. Oh, now you can.
Yeah.
Now you can't, right? So this wave out here creates a false horizon, and you think it's over Earth curve. Is the Earth flexing? What's going on here?
It's just is that the undulation of the water?
This is just the undulation of the water. This is a wide amplitude swelly day. But when the waves are closer together, it'll literally create a line, and everything beyond that will get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, even though in your visual space, it's only going between those two little lines. Remember?
Yeah, of course.
Remember, I have to go 100 times farther than that first.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's not getting any farther away visually. It's just getting smaller visually.
Yeah, sure.
And it goes into the horizon, right? So hold on, let's see if I.
Oh yeah, because I can see that white when I can see the horizon behind it, even though I can't see the bow.
Right. So let me just see. I got another one here. Maybe this one. So look, we got these boats, we got these mountains here. Cool. Now watch what happens when I zoom out. I think this is one where I zoom out. I zoom out. Not only do the boats go away, the mountain goes away. Now, is that over the curve? Now, that mountain's probably far enough away where it should be over the curve, but it just goes into the horizon.
Yeah, and also you got the haze as well, I guess.
Well, the haze, absolutely, too. You know, I have New York City 25 miles away, and we have the Whitestone Bridge crossing over in my view, and the stanchions of the bridge are, I think they're 216 feet. From a elevation of like 2 feet off the ground. I think there's like 400 feet of curvature or whatever it is. Okay. I shouldn't be able to see the tops of those stanchions, but not only can I see the bridge, I can see under the bridge. And on certain days, I can see the footings of under the bridge. Okay. I shouldn't be able to see the tops of the stanchions that are holding up that bridge.
According to their laws. According
to their rules, not mine.
So, Dave, how is this counted when you show this footage to us? How is this explained? What do they say?
They don't explain it.
Really? Just won't debate you.
They won't debate it. They'll go refraction. Well, the bottom. They'll jump to another thing. Like, well, the bottom of the ship is missing, and we know where these ships are. But if you watch these anti-flat earther guys, every time they show a ship where it's missing, look at the wind. There's like 4 or 5 foot waves out there. Ready? A 3 foot wave can hide a cruise ship. A 3 foot wave.
Yeah, well, yeah. When you were saying about when you showed the thing of New York, and you were saying as you get closer to the horizon, like all that much, you're talking tinier margins, aren't you? As you get closer to the horizons, you said that last little bit would be like 100 times further than the first bit.
Yeah, and so it's not. It's just getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's not going any farther away. That little, like, can my finger hide my entire face?
No.
Are you sure?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right. So in the foreground, we have, we have that. So here, I'll show you. This is just a standard.
And all this footage, sorry, Dave, is actually you've done this yourself.
Some of this is mine, not some of it, and it's other people's too.
But this is something someone could do with a relatively inexpensive piece of equipment. I urge people to do it.
Yeah. So look. So right here. So when you're zooming in, right, everything comes together like that, and that creates your horizon. But as we zoom in, right? So look, there's no boat here, right? But as we zoom in, it starts increasing our angular size. And as we increase our angular size, all of a sudden you go, oh, look, there is a boat. It's right there. Where'd it come from? Now watch. My finger can't hide that boat, but if my
Right.
finger was one of these waves in the foreground a little bit, look at the boat. It's shrink. It looks like it's dropping below the horizon. It looks like it's sinking into the horizon. It's going into the horizon,
Sure.
right? The optics, the way we see over distance, especially over water, especially with that marine layer, right? All sorts of visual stuff is happening. And the problem is on a flat Earth and on a globe Earth, your visibility will change day to day. But on a globe Earth, there is a limit.
Mm.
No matter how clear it is, you can remove all the atmosphere, super clear. There's a limit. A 6-foot tall person standing at the edge of perfectly calm water, not a single ripple on it, should only be able to see 3 miles because there's a 6-foot drop in 3 miles, according to the globe math. 6 feet at 3 miles. That means you can't see the water surface past 3 miles if you're 6 feet tall.
Yeah, so it should drop away, shouldn't it?
It should be a physical horizon.
Yeah.
But we can see things way beyond that. We can see things way, way, way beyond it, right?
So I've heard things like I remember I saw that you'd know more than me. There was a clip and it was on some kind of local news station where someone had filmed across one of the lakes and you could see something like a city at the other end of the lake. And then the next day someone wrote and said, "Oh, it was actually a mirage." Are you aware of the? Yeah. This.
So this is it, right?
Yeah.
But this is a time lapse, right? So if there's a mirage, different weather will change it, right? This is a 24-hour time lapse. The building that's still here. Look, my finger's on the same building. It's not moving. It's not moving. We're going through the day, right? The building's not moving. It's not miraging. It's not there. It's still staying in the same place. It's going to be nighttime. It's still there, right? That's it. That it's basically it's showing you that there's no change other than atmospheric conditions. The buildings stay exactly where they are. Exactly where they are. Now, we had two of our guys. They went to Lake Michigan on a clear day, 52 miles away. There it is. And they put their camera on it. They got in a boat and they went all the way across the lake. And they kept their camera on it the whole time. If it was a mirage, it would change.
Exactly.
And it stayed exactly where it was. It never changed whatsoever. Here's the other thing. Why is it that mirages refract things up and stop at eye level? Why don't they refract them up here?
Yeah.
Why don't we see things floating in the sky? And also, if that's a mirage, how come if we go up in a balloon or a drone or whatever, it doesn't rise up? It just stays where it is. No matter how we go, where we change, the mirage never changes.
But that's the thing. Mirage, so they explain that. I remember that specific example. If I'm not wrong, someone wrote in the next day and said, "Oh, actually, it was a mirage." And does anyone question that? I mean, people will question you about the flat model, why does no one go, "What is a mirage? Why doesn't it?" Yeah. But it's not even questioned.
So this is a non-tidal bay, time lapse, super sped up. And look at the buildings, look at the beach. It's like if you went there and you go like, "Oh, it's behind the curve." Oh, wait, it's not behind the curve. Look at the buildings, right? Whoa, where are the buildings going? This is just the optics over water, right? This is just one day. And look at the mountain in the background going up and down. Look at the beach, right? So think that you're going to measure that and prove the globe. You've lost your mind.
Yeah, it does. I mean, like I said, the thing is, no one could argue it behaves flat. It behaves like it's flat.
It measures flat.
And I haven't done the measurements you have, so you can say it measures flat, but I can say it definitely like when a pilot flies, I don't believe they're always constantly doing a nosedive and they have the artificial horizon. For all intents and purposes, it behaves flat. Now, obviously, I don't know. I remember that the first. I think I'm right in saying that the first time we thought it was round is when people invented telescopes and saw ships disappearing. But obviously the telescope technology then was nothing like you've got now. And it was just maybe the perspective and it disappearing. But we still use that. I've seen Bill Nye recently use that as a proof that it's a globe. And I'm thinking, why would you use that when you've got these like modern things you can zoom in? Wouldn't you sort of like go to the new technology?
Absolutely. And when a plane is flying, the higher you go, the farther you can see on a flat plane.
Sure.
And allegedly on a globe, but we would never know that because we'd all be dead if it was a globe. But at 39,000 feet cruising altitude, the horizon, according to Earth Curve Calculator, is 242 miles away. Okay? So 242 miles, that's a drop would be 39,000 feet. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to remember, that this plane is already up at 39. Again, it just happens to be the same number, 39,000 feet. So the horizon, which if you look out the left window, there it is. If you look out the right window, there it is. If you draw a line, it goes right in front of your eyes, right? That horizon is 78,050 feet below the plane. 78,000 feet. You can't fathom that height. But it's always at eye level, or appears to be at eye level.
I was thinking that when you were showing this, when one of the horizon of the water before, and I was thinking, well, obviously water always finds a level, so you can take out the discrepancy for undulations of the landscape. I just feel like it looks like the horizon comes up, like you say. It doesn't drop away. It doesn't go down like if you was on a ball. Maybe I know it's vast, but it does always seem to meet in the same place.
Airplanes fly with the nose up, straight and level for their whole flight, right? They'd have to nose down over the friggin' spinning ball with the ground spinning at different speeds. At the equator, it's spinning 1,000 miles an hour. Up in New York, it's spinning 700 miles an hour. In Alaska, it's spinning 300 miles an hour because they're making smaller loops. You got to change your orientation. You got to go around this spinning ball. It's absolutely insanity. You know, in the flight manual, it says, assume a flat, non-rotating Earth. A flat, non-rotating Earth. What does that sound like? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Even whatever you believe, you have to concede it behaves flat. Even like you just said, pilots would say it behaves like it's flat, doesn't it?
It behaves like it's flat. It actually is flat. If you look at, hold on, we'll go to this one. This is what you have to believe is going on, that you're flying. If you want to fly around the Earth, north to south, maybe that's why they don't do it. You would have to talk like that. Yeah. So look at it. It's making a figure 8. How is that even possible? The Earth is going 1,000 miles an hour there, and it's going much slower here. But 1,000 miles an hour ground speed, going down, speeding up. How does that work? Well, I'm not smart enough to. I don't have a degree. Where'd you get your degree, Dave? Right? Yeah, I got my degree in common sense. God's common sense, God-given common sense.
So
right?
You briefly touched upon north to south then, and I think there's something going on with Antarctica. Do we agree?
Absolutely. Let's finish. Let me finish this.
Sorry.
No problem. Where you're flying, you're always at the top of the ball. So if you're flying like from North America to South America, you're diving over the ball, and the stars in the distance will rise up, right? Because you're diving over.
Got you.
Right. So any stars in front of you will now be above you.
Mm-hmm.
When you go over. So let's compare that to an actual time lapse. This is from Berlin, I think, to Brazil, 4,000 miles going halfway over the ball, right? The stars aren't rising. These stars in front of them should be at their zenith when they get there. This is what Google Earth says it should look like. The stars should be rising up because you're diving over.
Of course.
The stars should be. This is what Google Earth says, who added curvature in 2001, right around 9/11. There wasn't curvature in Google Earth before then, right? And this is what reality shows us. But globe believers, there's two types of globe believers: the anti-flat Earth globe believers that literally refuse to learn anything, and then the other people that are ignorant that just believe and they never ask themselves why, right? Never ask themselves why. There's tons of proofs. There's so many. I don't need to list one. Right? Well, you list one. Photo of Earth. Can you show me one photo of Earth? There's thousands of them, Dave. There's thousands. Can you pick one that you're willing to stand behind? And they will not, because if they look, they're going to just find nonsense after nonsense after nonsense. Here are 9 images from NASA.
Mm-hmm.
They're all obviously different.
Yeah,
so
different colors even.
That only one of them, if any, can be real. So NASA gave us 8 fake images and 1 real, or they give us 9 fake images?
I've said this to people, and I've said, do you know that every photo of Earth is a composite? And
or a painting.
And they don't believe you. Yeah, or a painting. Yeah, but even the ones that they say are photos, they're made of data. They're not. It's not an actual photo.
Yeah.
So when you've offered your 3 Bitcoin reward, would a photo of the Earth from space showing it's a ball? I'm guessing that if you saw one that was untampered with and verified, that would be the smoking gun that you couldn't deny it. But there isn't one.
But there isn't one because Earth is not a ball, right? This is a photo of the curved Earth from the International Space Station, but all of this,
it's
is
wrong,
in this
isn't it?
is in this circle. All
And
of
where
that.
are the clouds? There's no clouds or anything.
Well, there's the green thing here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing. We have all these crazy images of Earth, right? And it's always so colorful and everything. And here's another one from NASA. It's this. Is this like what is going on? This is just a fisheye lens from a high altitude airplane. That's it. That's it, right? And then here's something we can actually measure. We can drive across Mexico and Baja and say, okay, that is 934 miles. Well, they tell us the radius, the diameter of the Earth is 7917. So this red bar right here, I should be able to fit 8.5 of them between these two lines. I can't fit 3. I can't fit 3 of them. It goes right off the page, right? So there's a problem. There's a massive problem there. There's a massive problem.
There's always, this is the thing, and whatever someone believes, and obviously more people believe it's a ball than don't, but if they look at this evidence, there's always a caveat. There's always a slight mistake with it. It's never just, that's a picture of the Earth, it all checks out. Yeah. It's always something, isn't there? There's always just a little door open.
Yeah. So this picture was taken from the moon, supposedly, and 1972 moon mission, and we know exactly when it was taken. And so if we look at time and date, this is what part of the Earth should be lit. Okay, so you got South America, Africa, right, Europe, right, and so if we look, we just have Africa. Where's the rest? Where's the rest? Where's the rest? Right, and so here is the United States.
Yeah.
So here's the United States. What the same thing. So all of this has to be on the other side of this ball.
The United States is a quarter of the ball, isn't it?
But look, all of this land has to be on the other side. Problem. Here's the other side.
Yeah.
Here's the other side. So all of this has to be on the other side. Wait a minute. If you can't put this together, this shirt is wrong. You are stupid.
So that one on the right, sorry, that big continent we can see is Africa, is that?
That's Africa.
And that is pretty much that whole side of the ball, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's got a little bit of South America. Here's South America right here, but that's it. That's it. And there's people that still want to deny this stuff. It's just denial. It's ridiculous, right? Here's just another look. Here's the 2020 or whatever, not 12 image, right? And so here's a map of the world, and we just put it right here, right? Matches in perfectly. Amazing how it actually matches this map. And all of this land is on the other side of this ball.
Well, they know also how big they say Antarctica is. It's not, you can't see any of that on the ball, on the globe.
Of course. There's no photos of Antarctica.
What's going on down there, Dave? I'm intrigued with Antarctica.
Out there.
Well,
it's off limit. Independent exploration is out there. There is this pastor that popped up out of nowhere who's literally just a devil deceiver. And he's created this thing called the final experiment, and he's flying some flat earthers and globe earthers to Antarctica to see if there's a 24-hour sun. Now, we don't think there's a 24-hour sun. I don't think there's a 24-hour sun. There might be some light phenomena down there that's hard to explain. But even if there was a 24-hour sun, it doesn't disprove all of the measurements of the Earth. It doesn't do that at all. Basically, it just tells us how well we understand the sky. And that's it. So let me show you this one. This one I want to show you. No, that's not it. Here. So this is the Gleason's map. This is the best map that we have. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So here is the Weather Channel showing us on this day 70% of the Earth is in daylight. Can you go into a dark room, have a single source light on the far side of the room, hold up a basketball, and have that light light up more than half of the basketball?
No.
You can't. It can only light up half. Well, it's lighting up 70%, and the reason it has to light up 70% is because the way the land is laid out. So let's take a look at this. Check this out. This is a globe killer. So this is the one I want to bring into court.
Okay. This is Exhibit A.
August 13th, day and night. The sun's right here. We got all of South America in the light. Just California is getting some dusk. Africa, good. Russia, good. The only thing in the dark is Australia and these islands over here, right? That's it. That's it. And this is actual readings. Forget what map this is. This is what's in light and what's in dark. And this is what they show us, okay? So here is the Gleason's map, and we're going to put the sun right there where it was, and we're going to light it up, and we're going to lift it up, and we're going to say, can we make a light pattern that puts all of that light? There it goes, pretty good, right? You got South America, California, everything good. Just Australia and these islands are in the dark. Hey, that matches the pattern. Very good, right? Cool, cool. So now we're going to go and we say we got a globe, right? And we have a light on the far side of the room, and we got, there's Australia. And we're going to put Australia in the dark. So Australia and those islands are in the dark, right? Just like we had there. And we go over, the globe is tilted like it's supposed to be tilted, and we got a problem because America and South America are in the dark. So let's readjust. We'll go over here and we'll move South America right into the light, just like it was on that map, right? California just in the dusk, California in the light. Cool. And we go back over here, and all of Russia, Europe, there's all that stuff is in the dark.
So what you're saying
doesn't work on a ball.
Yeah.
All of that should be in the light. It doesn't work on a ball. It works on a flat Earth. And there's a piece of evidence for you.
And that experiment there kind of makes sense with where you had the continents lined up with the globe against that map, didn't it?
Yeah.
The proportions are all off.
So a single source light can match this lighting pattern, and the globe cannot.
No.
You know what? You're a comedian, right?
Yep.
You're smarter than any of these educated guys that come up. The guy I had today, he's got a PhD, he's a physicist. These guys are so stupid. And you, a comedian, are smarter than all of them. How is that possible? You know why? Because it's indoctrination. It's indoctrination. You get everything I'm saying. You're thinking about it. You're not just believing me. You're like, hey, he's showing me some good evidence. This is pretty good stuff. And you're going to look deeper, I can tell. But these other guys, they're lost. They're lost in their heliocentric sauce.
I'll tell you where I am with it, and I don't know. This might not be an angle that I don't know if you've considered this, because I hear the notion of simulation theory, and they talk about that things are probably more likely a simulation than they aren't. I also have looked into the superstate, and there is a part of me that's starting to possibly believe that the Earth exists in a superstate, as in it is a ball and flat. Or it's whatever. I just think that if you believe in a simulation, all bets are off. Anything's possible. If atoms can be waves and particles, and they can be in two places at once, and you can have quantum entanglement, this is just the very nature of reality is so insane. The fact that we've known for thousands of years since we invented telescopes, since Copernicus, that we live on a ball that goes around the sun, I just find it ridiculous. That I do think that people just, I don't know, I just don't accept anything, Dave. That's
Globers, their best excuses are people from thousands of years ago that they've never met, that they don't even know if we're real, right? The whole Eratosthenes with his sticks and shadows. First, it's impossible. That story is impossible. None of it makes any sense, and it doesn't prove anything, but that's what they use as their proof, right? We live inside a toroidal field. You can call this the globe.
Sure.
We live on domain block wall, this flat plane of existence. This is where we live. And then all of the planets are inside of these toroids making these spirograph patterns. And it makes it this is where we live. Can we get outside this? I don't know. I don't know, because we're not independently allowed to explore beyond 60 degrees south.
If you told me the North Pole either. If you told me, Dave, that was the first proper footage of an atom, I'd believe you. Do you know what I'm trying to get at? That as above and below, I just think it's all connected. I think it's all the same.
What do you think this is?
Well, I'd probably say the sun, possibly.
Is it the sun?
I don't know. Is it the sun? That's what I would believe to be the sun. Yeah.
Yeah. It's literally just my iPhone on the backside of a window. I'm just holding my iPhone on the outside of a window.
Right.
And I'm filming it. Okay. I'm just saying, you can say anything. I mean, people just believe anything. The crap from NASA is so stupid.
They are
and people,
sketchy. NASA are
sketchy.
ridiculous. They're
Don't be,
when they say
listen.
that, oh, we've deleted all the telemetry and all the data of our greatest achievement. That's what like when Enron are getting investigated, right? And as the auditors are coming, they're frantically shredding all the evidence. That's what NASA have done about the moon landing.
NASA,
you wouldn't get rid of it.
The most important footage of the world and the moon landings. They were short on money, and there was a videotape shortage, so they taped over it.
Yeah, someone taped the Golden Girls
story.
on it or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the official story.
I know, and also, and when I tell people this, it blows their mind. I say, that footage that you've all seen, that was someone filming a screen, wasn't it? Apparently, they had a projection in NASA, and they let people film. I mean, that's
a rear projection. That way, you lose all the metadata. They can't see anything. It's low res. And they can't extract any data from it.
So I like I said, I'll tell you when I had my questions, and it was from it was an observation I made myself. It was about when I was looking at the moon one night, and I was looking at the moon, and the more you look at it, I don't know, I get a surreal feeling when I'm looking at the moon. It's a very odd thing to observe the moon. If you really open your mind and look at it, and you believe it's 250,000 miles away almost, or whatever it is, and then I was thinking, because in Australia, I live in the Northern Hemisphere in the UK. In Australia, they say the moon appears upside down. Now, I haven't found any, and I haven't researched it properly. Wouldn't it make sense, Dave, that if you were stood on the equator, the moon would look sideways? As you went round the globe, wouldn't it incrementally rotate? I don't think it does it?
So draw a 6 on your ceiling and stand on one side of your room and look at the 6. You stand on the other side. What do you see?
A 9.
A 9.
But if you walked around the edge of the room, you would see it rotating.
You would see it sideways.
The moon doesn't do that, does it?
Absolutely. You see it sideways. It depends on where you're looking. I see a 6. You see a 9. It's the same thing.
So on a flat plane, then, if you were in the center of the plane and the moon was rotating around in a circle, like halfway round, like a record, and it was the middle track, as you got closer to the moon, there would be a point where it all of a sudden flipped upside down, wouldn't it? As you got to the outside, is that fair to say? Yeah. So if the moon was the sun there, and as you walked along that hour hand, as you got to the other side, it was all of a sudden flip.
It's look, you draw a smiley face on your ceiling, walk to the end of the room. It's a sad face.
Yeah.
Okay. It's upside down. That's it.
But there's a moment where it flips.
Well, it depends. You could you could be looking at it like this directly above you, and then you could look at it like this and it flips.
And
it's
that's
just
what it
how
does.
you look at it.
But on a globe, I feel it would rotate as you went round the edge. You're looking at the moon, and the other thing is, I think this is bizarre. Well, there's two things about the moon that just sounds like I'm not swallowing it. I'm not stupid. It's exactly however many times smaller than the sun, but the sun's exactly that much further away, so they appear the same size.
But it looks like it's the same size.
Exactly.
Yeah, it looks like the same
and
size.
the other thing is it
size.
rotates at the exact same, so it's always facing the Earth. Now, if you said, oh, well, you can see that, I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson say that we know that he said about that when you see the shadow of the Earth on the moon, we know it's a ball because the shadow is always a sphere. But then I look at the moon and go, yeah, but that doesn't spin round. So that could be a disc that's fixed. It doesn't rotate. So how do you know the Earth's not doing the same thing? So even his sort of like simple layman logic, you can sort of even refute that, I think. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. But the fact that he says that it because it's always a sphere. Let me just clear this out. That proves that it's a sphere. That's not true, because when a sphere casts a shadow on another sphere, let me see if I can find the right video here. Hold on. Shadow shapes. Nope. Yeah. Well, this is interesting. This is 3 different angles of a shadow from that object in the middle. Right. So what can you say about that?
Yeah. You can't determine the shape of that from shadows, can you?
Yeah. This one. Nope. Oh, maybe this is it. Yeah. Yes. So we have this ball on a flat surface, and that's what we see. Right. That's
correct. Yeah.
That looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Right. That looked pretty good. But now if we do it on a ball, so here's a ball. See how it comes in as an ellipse?
Yeah.
It leaves, it warps as it goes away. So is this thing flat that we're seeing? Right? It literally warps. Think about this lunar eclipse. If the Earth is a basketball, the moon is a tennis ball.
Yeah.
The moon is 30 basketball widths away.
Mm-hmm.
So measure 30 basketball widths, put a tennis ball there, and then get a single source light behind you and hold the basketball and see if you can cast a shadow onto that tennis ball 30 away. You can't. Go out when the sun is high in the sky, put a basketball on the ground. You'll see a nice tight shadow around it. Okay. You'll see a nice tight shadow below it, right? Sun's above you, basketball on the ground. Lift the basketball up here and then tell me where the shadow is. You know, there's no shadow.
No.
It all disperses. But the Earth shadow can go 238,000 miles and leave a crisp shadow on the moon.
Yeah, and then again, my point is, when you look at the moon, just from visual, it could be a flat disk because it doesn't spin round. That is my point. It's like they say, oh, it's got to be. I look at it and I go, the one thing we can actually look at doesn't rotate. That just seems a bit of a coincidence, doesn't it? It just sits there locked, doesn't it? We only see one side of it. Could be a disk for all I know. I know they say it isn't, but... And the other thing I don't get, Dave, is when... like sometimes I see the moon during the daytime, and there must be a time when it passes over the Earth because it's much closer to the Earth. It never casts a shadow. Like, you never get, like, the south and all the southern states are in the dark for a few minutes while the moon gets in between the sun and the Earth.
Well, during a solar eclipse, it happens.
Yeah, but wouldn't it happen it would happen more often than that.
Yeah, but you think about it, 238,000 miles away, solar eclipse, the shadow should be at least the same size, if not bigger, right? A shadow gets bigger.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right? But it's only 70 miles wide. Wait a minute. Is the moon only 70 miles wide? Right? I think it's like 2,000 miles or whatever it is. And it's the shadow is small, like it's a small object in our sky. It's like a small local object.
And the other thing is, and again, this is just, like I said, I'm not a scientist. I'm just someone who I question everything or think about everything. When you see the sun rays poking through the clouds, they come straight down. And you've got this huge light source, all these thousands and thousands of miles away, hitting this ball. But when they hit the clouds, they seem to... The way they break through the clouds, it doesn't look like you'd expect it to look, does it?
It looks like this, right? Eratosthenes with his experiment, the sun's far away because the rays we see they're parallel. Why would he think that the sun rays are parallel when no one has ever seen parallel rays? No one has ever seen parallel rays. Right?
So do you think the sun's more local then?
Oh, absolutely. The sun is small and local right here in our system. It's very, very close.
Within our ecosystem, yeah.
Yeah, it's within the Earth system.
Yeah. So do you think that I don't know, this might be a tangent.
This is what it would look like if the sun was 93 million miles away.
Yeah.
We'd have rays coming down like that. No one has ever seen that. This
is
CGI. Or
even I'd expect them to be coming at you under the clouds, just completely bathed in light all around.
Yeah.
Like when you're looking at the horizon, you can see the clouds up here and the rays are coming down. But when you look at the horizon, you can see a gap. Why isn't the sun just completely flooding us from all angles? It's so far away and so big. I don't think you'd get this phenomenon.
Globers love saying, the what about sun under the clouds? And they show this picture where the sun is setting and then the underside of the cloud deck is lit. Cool. So go in the app, go to the images section and type sun under, and there it is. And so this is a picture. Here's a picture of the sun, right? If you look, the sun is underneath the clouds. I took this picture. But if you look at the tops of the clouds are lit.
Sure.
That's because it's a thick cloud. So hold on. Let's go to another one, right? Here it is. The sun is under, and the tops of the clouds are still lit because they're thick. But if I show you one that has thinner clouds, like this one, so they'll claim, like, look, the sun is under the clouds there. But how come the thick clouds don't have any sun on them and the sun's on the top? This is just the sun coming through the clouds, right? It looks like the bottoms are lit, but the thicker clouds tell you, no, the bottoms are not lit because the thicker clouds would have the sun underneath them. They absolutely would. Here's the sun rising, right? We got the sun low. And if you just carefully look at the tops of the clouds are lit. So
Mm.
this is just a perspective thing. Look, the tops of the clouds are lit,
Mm.
not the bottoms. And the sun's down there. So you have to understand when things appear to be below you, that just appears, right? How come the bottoms of these clouds aren't lit, right? But if you look carefully, the tops are lit.
So yeah, so I guess what you're saying is if it was that large light source so far away, it wouldn't be so that just all the it would be lit in a much more uniform way. It seems more
Right. It's every claim they have is nonsensical. It's absolutely nonsensical. Here's the thing. Why is Google hiding this from you? Why?
I've got to say, Dave, since just corresponding with you via email, and I've had conversations with my wife that I'm excited about talking to you, my social media feed has been all these groups like Stop the Flat Earth Madness. And it's not, can't be a coincidence. I've never seen them before. And like you say, when I started looking into Flat Earth a while ago, I could search Google or YouTube, and I would basically find what I was looking for. They, whoever they are, have definitely done something to hide it in the algorithm, and I don't think that they do things like that unless there's a reason to. I don't know. Maybe that's a conspiracy.
I just did the Jim Brewer podcast, and it came out on Saturday morning, and it was the #1 hit on. It was #1 hit. You search Flat Earth, top of the list on YouTube until this morning. Okay, so what's today? What today is? I have no idea what's
Tuesday
today.
here. Yeah.
Tuesday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So 4 days. It was #1. Now it's not in the top 100. It just bam. They realized, oh crap, we got to get this out of here. And now those top 100 videos are all troll videos. They're all anti-flat Earth videos. They're all the worst of the worst.
Yeah,
that's what they want you seeing.
Straw man.
Yeah, and it's all straw mans. Like if the Earth was a globe, there would be no flat Earthers because there would be proof of the globe. But there's not. It's a growing movement of people that aren't afraid to go screw off, right? And unplug from the system. My app is $3, right? And you get everything except there's some higher functions if you want to message other people, if you want to go on the dating part of it, or the matchmaker or create meetups or anything. You have to pay. It's $11 a year. Okay, that's because to actually use that stuff costs me more than the cost of the app costs you.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yep.
So it would cost me more, and so that's why I charge for it. You can also get the app, the subscription for free just by referring the app to other people using your referral code, and that's a whole nother thing. I don't care. Get the app, don't get the app. The app is awesome. Go to the App Store, read the reviews, and then don't get it. But on my website, if you scroll down, you see a big picture of me. It says Crash Course. Watch those videos. For those of you that want to take the challenge is usually get the app. Every day there's a new featured video here. Just watch that video while you have your morning breakfast for 2 weeks. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you think you have a glow proof, first check the frequently asked questions and make sure it's not answered, and then send me your proof. Or go to my website, watch the first 5 videos in the Crash Course, and then send me your glow proof. But here's the thing. You watch those first 5 videos, you're going to know the Earth is flat. You're not going to have any proofs, and you're going to have to reassess your life. And you're going to try to, some of you are going to be like, oh, I can't deal with this. And you're going to try to stick it back in the closet, but it's going to haunt you until you address it.
So I think I'll ask you a few more questions before we.
I got one more question for you before I forget.
Of course.
Is your wife interested in the topic? Not yet.
She tolerates me and she's open to it, but I just think it's hard to tell. I don't want. I haven't got your.
Here's the thing. You guys watch movies together once in a while?
Now and then, yeah.
Okay, so turn off Netflix. Go in the app. If you go to the web button, the one that looks like a spider web, and you go right here to the full length videos, documentaries. There's a whole bunch of great videos there. Pick one and say, hey, we're gonna have movie night. Make her a nice dinner, a glass of wine, whatever it takes, and watch it. They're actually really well done. Yeah. You're gonna love it. And then you'll sit down and just say, let's not believe anything. Let's watch this.
Yeah.
And then we'll have something to talk about.
That's all I urge anyone watching or listening to this, Dave, is to just forget about what people might think of you. Don't let yourself be.
I certainly have.
Just this watch and listen with an open mind. But I guess what I was going to say. So you seem to have a indefatigable passion and an energy for evangelical. Now, if you truly believe the Earth is flat, and I know you do, you have to do it, because imagine if you knew what you knew and didn't want to share it. That would be insane. But what is the one thing that is there anything that sort of like you think, do you know what, I've almost had enough of this? Is there anything that could deter you from your quest?
I was doing a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. We're looking into all of the major deceptions: New York, Connecticut, the school thing, and the Boston Marathon, and all of this stuff. And we were digging into all of these things. No matter how painful it was, we were digging in. And then Flat Earth came up, and after resisting, I finally looked into it, and I was like, holy crap. And then I was like, we're not going to talk about this in the podcast because we're going to lose our fan base. People are just going to unsubscribe. We're going to discredit everything we've done. I'm like, but it's true. And then after a couple of weeks, I'm like, I got to talk about it. And so for the next year, I brought it up every show. We even had we had a special segment for it in the podcast. And then the whole podcast blew up because people's heads exploded. They're like the co-host, couldn't handle it. And then I started the Flat Earth podcast. The Flat Earth podcast, and it was the first audio podcast on the Flat Earth. There was podcasts and everything, but no one was doing Flat Earth. So that kind of went wild. And then we still do it. We do very few episodes though, because I'm doing interview after interview after interview on other people's channels. So like yours, I'm doing yours right now.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. And so, our goal is not to preach to flat earthers. Once you're a flat earther, I'm done with you. All right. I want to find new people. I want to get more people, because I know once you're a flat earther, you're never going back. Now, Globers will go, look, here's a guy that went back. All these Globers say, I used to be a flat earther, but then I did some research. They're lying. They're desperate. They have nothing. Here's the other thing. You'll watch. You're going to have more trolls commenting on your video. But everybody look. Where's their proof? They won't provide any. And then go look at their channel. Zero content. Okay? Zero content. So they created a channel just to come here and tell you you're stupid and that I'm a grifter and that, don't buy my app. That's fine. Whatever. But they will never offer a proof. And if they do, it's a straw man.
Can I just say on that, because I do have I don't mean to embarrass anyone here. I do have a bee in my bonnet about this new word grifter that's thrown around to discredit you. You've been a perfectly you're not. I can just tell you're not a grifter. You're not. I can tell the people watching this. Dave is not a grifter. He's definitely not a grifter. He's been very kind and generous with his time.
The app is $3, and I offer you a way to get the subscription for free.
You've given me your time. He's not a grifter. You can just get that out of your head. Whatever you want to think he is, he's not that, and I can tell you that for a fact. I just wanted to say that, and I really appreciate you doing this, Dave. So is there anywhere, one last question, is there any area you're looking into now? Do you think you've got all your ducks in a row? Have you got enough evidence, or is there always more to be found?
I think it was Eddie Bravo that said, or was it Eddie or somebody said, when they discovered flat Earth, they were kind of depressed because they're like, wow, that's the last time my mind is going to be blown like this again. Right? What's bigger than flat Earth?
Nothing.
Let me tell you what. No, there are things. On the app, if you click the Griffin button, this is the old world button. Have you looked into the old world yet?
Sean Hibble, I've seen Old World Order.
World Order.
Yeah. I've seen it level with me.
Have you watched My Lunch Break?
No, I haven't. I'm going to definitely get your app, and I will put links to it.
But you can find My Lunch Break right on YouTube. And he's on every network. Just look him up. Go back 10, 15 videos. Binge watch those on a rainy Sunday, and then watch all of the videos. This stuff is mind-blowing, right? Mind-blowing stuff. And it'll blow you away. Basically, everything you were taught in school is a lie. Everything.
I believe that.
Everything. So everything.
When you believe the Earth is flat, and is that are you a religious man, Dave?
I don't like the idea of religion. I used to be. I guess I would say I believed in evolution, the Big Bang. I believed in all of the nonsense they taught us, and I wasn't so sure that there was a creator. I just hey, this is just randomness, which is the absolute insanity once you think about it. But then once I discovered that this place is intelligently designed, you have no choice But to understand there's a creator. Now, who is that creator? That's your own personal journey, right? Your relationship with the creator, that's your own personal journey. And don't let anyone tell you that you got to do it this way or you're going to hell. That's bullshit. Okay. That's bullcrap. You can understand that you're at the center of creation. And the beautiful thing about that is your thoughts create your reality. So if you play the game, the simulation properly, it does magic for you. Like I made I was told about vision boards. I thought it was kind of airy fairy and I didn't do it. And finally I was like, I'm going to make a vision board. And I listed all these things that I wanted. And one of the things I listed, I wanted to be the CEO of my own company. And I giggled because that was the last thing I wrote down on it. And I didn't know what a CEO did. I just like, I don't know, be a CEO. I just wrote it down. Right. 5 years later, I'm sitting in my office of my own company, right, with two partners. And I was balancing the books for the month. And I'm like, wait a minute, I think I'm the CEO of my own company. Yeah. Right. And then my truth journey started getting interfering with my business life. And I had to make a choice. I went to college. I went to corporate America. I left corporate America. I started my own company. I basically did everything that everybody wants to do. I had the American dream. I was making lots of money, had lots of free time. And I walked away from it all thinking that I need to spread this message. This is the message that's keeping us all as slaves. And I really couldn't live with myself if I didn't. So I left my company and I started doing this. And I walked away from a lot of money to, I was basically just able to pay my bills, just like literally down to like, I got $1 left over. I'm a winner. Right. And then I started building, momentum in this. And I said, you know what? One of the things I put on the vision board is I want more free time and I want to do what I love. Right. Let me tell you something. I work harder and longer than I ever have in my entire life now, but I also at the same time have more free time. And I don't feel like I'm working at all because if I was working, I would be talking to you on my time off. This is what I would be doing for fun. I would be doing this for fun. Yeah. But now it has created, I have manifested a way where this is what's supporting me. And in turn, I don't do this for the money. No. I do this to wake up the world because here's the thing. My target market is every single person with an internet connection. That's my target market. That's a pretty good market, right? And when everyone wakes up to this, money will be useless because all governments will collapse. When everyone realizes that the earth is flat, governments are a lie, all governments are illegal, right? And everyone realizes that they don't have to donate 30% of their money to funding wars. When everyone realizes this, all the money systems will collapse. So that is my goal, to literally collapse the society.
And that, Dave, is exactly why they would lie. And I think you exude passion and you look so healthy and radiant when you talk about it. I mean, that's worth more than any sort of money, isn't it? And I think you touched upon it briefly when you said about, like, I think you very early on, very briefly said, like, the Satanist model. And it does seem that if they tell us we are these random blobs of biology that evolved and we're trapped on this ball, we don't feel special. We don't feel like we can achieve what we should be achieving. And we are slaves.
Yeah. We're slaves on their farm playing by their rules. And it's not pretty. It's an energetic war. They want our loose energy. If you look into that, they literally are festering off of our fear, our lack, our loneliness, and that's what they have us believing. If you live on a ball, your fear, you're overpopulated. We're running out of fuel. Bull crap.
There's always something, isn't there?
Yeah, there's free energy surrounding us. No cars should need to be plugged in or filled up with fuel. There's energy everywhere, and they're hiding that from us.
Listen, Dave, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for coming on. I'm really honoured that you've come on and been so honest and open. And keep fighting your fight. And
if the flat Earth is too much for you, just go to my website, flatearthdave.com, and there's a big banner near the top that says Old World Order. Just watch that because Tataria of the old world will bring you to flat Earth when you're ready. Okay.
I think flat Earth. I thought, you've mentioned some higher ones there. I always thought, and I'm not using this. I know the irony of using this analogy. That if you think of the pyramid of conspiracies, flat Earth is up near the point, and above it is only God or whatever.
On my app, one of my favorite audio. It's just an audio clip, like 10 minutes long. If you go to the video search, which is the magnifying glass, right? there.
Yep, see it.
And you type in staircase. It's the staircase of disbelief. Just type in the word staircase, and one video will show up. Listen to that. Listen to that. It's Neil Kramer on the Veritas radio show talking about how you wake people up to conspiracies. And you start at the bottom of the staircase. The bottom of the staircase might be JFK.
Yeah.
Right? Start there, and then you go there, and you go to the Gulf of Tonkin, and you move your way up. And then when you get to the top, that's where flat Earth is. And it's how it frees your mind. He says it better than anybody. I've listened to that video 100 times, and I might even listen to it as I'm cleaning up my studio tonight.
Well, at the top of that staircase stands a giant in the conspiracy world, Dave Weiss, Flat Earth Dave. Thank you so much, Dave. And I'd love to have you back on sometime to talk about some other conspiracies. It's definitely something that even if I don't believe some of them, it's just so much funner than just I just love it.
Belief is the enemy of knowing. That's Pro 777 Radio in the homeschool section. He's there, CRROW777radio.com. Don't send your kids to college. Subscribe to Crow for $8 a month, and that's all they need. Listen to 5 podcasts a week. Your kid's going to be better equipped for this world than any university could ever prepare him for. It's amazing podcast, and we don't, the whole college scam. That's another depopulation.
Oh, it's training. The school system over here was invented in Victorian by the factory system to teach you to sit at a desk, eat when the bell rings. It was just training slaves for it's an industrial revolution thing. It's not about educating you at all. It's about indoctrination.
It's just amazing how some people can see it. You are one of them. And some people will fight for their slavery. The people, the highly educated people, indoctrinated people suffer from the worst case of Stockholm syndrome I've ever seen, and it's amazing.
And gaslight us.
Yeah, they gaslight. If the globe was real, they wouldn't need to straw man us and make up stories and say stupid shit.
And if anyone's listened this far and thinks we're a couple of idiots, go take your proof to Dave and get your 3 Bitcoins, and you can retire in the Bahamas somewhere.
Yeah. By the end of the year, those 3 Bitcoins are going to be worth probably close to 400,000, in my opinion.
Yeah. There you go. Dave Weiss, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, brother. And get the app. Go to the website. I'm going to put links below.
Just flatearthdave.com. Everything's right there. Click on the app banner. It's Android, direct download to Android, so Google Play or direct download, and Apple. Soon to be on Mac and on PC soon. Later
and also,
this year.
do your own experiment. Get a P900, 900,000, P1000, and go out and zoom. Go look at the horizon and see what you can see. You can do it themselves, right? You don't have to. They don't have to be indoctrinated by you. You're encouraging them to experiment themselves.
You know that the Nikon canceled the production of their P1000 because they got a contract with NASA, right? So now we can't get that camera anymore.
Well, thank you so much, Dave. Have a good day.
Thanks so much. See ya.
Thanks, Dave.
Damon, Justin, thanks.